All right, everyone, welcome. My name is Kyle Troy. I am the biologist here and naturalist at the Marine Education Center in Harbor Island Park. For those of you guys that have not been here before, I'm located in Mamaroneck, and I am open Monday through Friday, 9 until 4, so you guys are more than welcome to come down and check out some of the fish. The tanks are a little under construction right now, but there's a lot of the fish here that live in the Long Island Sound. Fish, crustaceans, echinoderms, all types of stuff. So today we're going to be talking about a special animal that lives, or doesn't live here, comes into the Long Island Sound during the winter. So before we start, I want to see if anybody out there, and again the comments, for those of you guys that are new, the comments come in a little slow, so write them in as we go with your friends or family, and I could answer them after, or just say them at home. Or with your teacher. So my first question is, does anyone know other animals that come into the Long Island Sound other than fish? Let's see if anyone can tell me an animal that they know that comes into the Long Island Sound. So again, the Long Island Sound is an estuary, which is a big word. It's salt water from the Atlantic Ocean mixed with fresh water, and our freshwater source here is the Mamaroneck River, but there's a lot of freshwater sources. So the Long Island Sound is an estuary fed in by the Atlantic Ocean, a big ocean, and then a lot of freshwater river sources. So we have a lot of special animals and plants that live here and that are very, very important. So I want to see if anybody out there knows. Yes, Diana. So we have a horseshoe crab that we talked about last week. Anybody else out there? And if you're saying them at home, that's great. Today we're going to be talking about a special animal a lot of people don't realize comes into the Long Island Sound during the winter. A lot of cool animals come in during the winter, especially birds. So birds are one of them. We'll be talking about those next week. So a lot of special birds come into the Long Island Sound, some of my favorites. But we also have these big animals. Let's see. Let's see if you guys know what that is. And unfortunately, I don't have these in-house. Does anyone at home know what that is? It's a little bright in here, so let's see. So this is our seal. So there's a lot of different seals. Yes, Diane. So let's see. So that is our seal. So we have a lot of different seals that come into close, Diana. It's a different animal, close in species, but it's a seal. So this is our pinniped, which is a big word. There's 5 different pinnipeds or seals that come into the Long Island Sound. And we'll talk about those in a second. But it's cool because, again, there's a lot of different species out there of all different animals. So there's 5 of these true seals, they're called, that come into the Sound. 2 of the biggest known seals to come in, which we had one come in, I think it was 2 years ago. This is our gray seal that you have on the screen here. So seals are mammals. And I know that may be ahead of a lot of your times, but does anyone know what a mammal is? Let's see. And again, answer at home with your friends or family, or you could write in the comments. And if you have questions, write them in as we go. So what is a mammal? Let's see if anybody knows. So seals are mammals. So we're mammals. And if you look on, like, say, your arm or your head, all mammals have that. What's on your head? Let's see, or you see it on your arms. So all mammals have hair. So our seal here has hair. All mammals have lungs. So lungs are how we breathe, and lungs are how this guy, yes, Diana. So all mammals have lungs. So we're breathing right now. That's how seals breathe. And then all seals are warm-blooded, just like us. Our blood is warm. Keeps us warm. So seals come in to the Long Island Sound during the winter. So we were just talking about, I'm gonna go to our next picture. This is another one of my favorites. So seals come into the Long Island Sound in the winter. And we just talked about how they're mammals. What do you think that they have that keeps them warm during the winter? Let's look closely at this guy. We'll go to the next guy too. We'll go back. So take a look at these two. Just looking at them, or what we just talked about. Let's see. So, to keep them warm in the winter, they have that hair, right? But if you look really closely, they're kind of chubby. They have blubber. So it's kind of like a fat. Keeps them very, very warm. But they also have claws, so if they're under the ice, it helps them get out of the ice. So they stick their claws into the ice and they pull themselves up. But what else would those claws do you think? Let's see. So those claws, right, help them eat. So again, like we've talked about, all the marine animals are intertwined into that food web. So this guy eats fish. All types of fish. But those claws help them eat. They also have big, big teeth. So, since I was talking about that we're mammals, so are these seals here. They have lungs just like us, but we're out of water. So do you think seals stay in the water all the time? If you're looking at this picture, you'd know the answer. So seals don't need to stay in the water all the time. They have those lungs, so they have to come up for air. They have to come up, no, great, Diane. They have to come up for air because they have those lungs. But they also can sleep up on the surface. So if they get out of the water, they can sleep. So a little cool thing about seals and whales and dolphins that all are in the water, come up for air, if they sleep or rest in the water, they only shut down half of their brain. It's kind of crazy. Why do you think they only shut down half of their brain and not all of their brain when they're in the water, if they're resting? It's a big question. Keeps them alert, right? Keeps them, just in case something comes up, they need to wake up pretty quickly. They only shut down half their brain. So when they're on land, they can shut down their full brain and get some good rest. Because they're not trying to come up for air. They have a lot of them around. A lot of protection. So that's pretty cool. So they do come up onto land. They also do something when they're resting, and it's called hulling out. Like when we hang out, they hull out. So you're going to see them on land doing this. We'll go back to those. Doing this. He's on an iceberg there. You see him? Kind of looks like a banana. So that's him hauling out. Pretty cool. So while they're on land, and if you see an iceberg like this, and again, going back to that food web, what do you think likes to eat them? Let's see if anybody knows. What do you think likes to eat them? Part of that food web, their food chain. So things like great white sharks, right? Polar bears. Yeah, sharks. You got your killer whales or your orcas. So a lot of things like to eat them because of that blubber. Lots of meat there. Lots of meat to feed a lot of different animals. So I'm gonna walk you guys over to this again, and we'll talk about this again another time. But this is our food chain for the seal. That's my attempt at a seal. But part of our food chain, our shark likes to eat our seal, and our seal likes to eat those fish. A lot of those fish that the seal eats eat smaller fish, and then those smaller fish eat those. Let's see if anybody remembers at home what those are. That is our zooplankton, and then the zooplankton and the phytoplankton. So we're going to come back here, and I'm just going to go through the 5 seals that like to come into the Long Island Sound. Most of them actually do not come in here very often, but there's a lot of travelers. So we got this guy, and I said it at the start, if anybody remembers. This guy kind of looks like a manatee. So this is our gray seal. Saw him a couple years ago, but they're all over. And we have this guy. See if anybody knows what this one is. This one a lot of people see. A little smaller than our gray seal. So our gray seal and this guy are here the most. This is 95% of what you see out there. This is our harbor seal. So I'm in the Mamaroneck Harbor. This is our harbor seal. That doesn't mean they come into the harbor, but it's a fun way to remember. Let's see. And then this guy's our ringed seal. Doesn't come in here very often. You're not going to see him very often. That's our ringed eel. Eel, I just said seal. This guy's a funny looking one. It's our hooded seal. It's a big guy. And then that's our hauling out. Again, this is our harbor seal. Most likely to see this guy. And then this cutie. Does anybody out there know what this one is? This is a lot of people's favorites. It's our harp seal. Harp seal. So again, these are some of the animals in the next couple of weeks that come into the Long Island Sound, because a lot of you guys only realize that fish come in here, but we have a lot of other animals that come in here, especially in the winter. We have some cool ones in the winter, at least. The seal is one of my favorites. We have a lot of birds, and next week we'll be talking about birds that come into the Long Island Sound during the winter. But the seal, again, really important to note is they are protected, all seals. So one thing you never want to do is go near a seal because it stresses them out very quickly. So if you ever see them doing that hauling out in their little banana and they jump away, just walk away and let them get back into their spot, because again, that is them resting. and you want to stay as far away from them as possible. So they are protected, which means they're very important to stay away from. You want to keep them safe and enjoy them from afar because they are very beautiful. And again, just to go through it, they are mammals just like us. They have that hair. They have lungs like we breathe. They breathe through lungs, so you'll see them come up for air. And all seals are different in terms of how long they'll be down for. Some stay down for 10 minutes, some stay down for an hour, depends, because they store their oxygen different way than us. We'll talk about that another time, maybe when a lot of you get a little older. We will go through that. But seals, very cool. Remember, stay away from them when you're in the wild. If you see them in the wild, you never feed them like all other wildlife. You never want to feed the wildlife, even birds. I know a lot of people out there love to feed the birds. It's very bad for them, especially if you're trying to feed them donuts, so let's stay away from that. But I want to thank all of you guys for joining me, and I will see you next Monday. Sorry we had to switch it till Tuesday this week, but my Marine Education Center Facebook Live will be this Thursday at 10:30, so join us there, and I look forward to seeing all of you next week. All right, and I'm Kyle, Marine Education Center, Harbor Island Park. Come on down, Monday through Friday, 9 until 4. All right, thanks everybody. Have a good day.